Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the Hammerhead X Series front bumper available for the 2013 and 2018 Ram 1500, excluding the Rebel model. You should be checking this out if you're looking for not only an upgraded front bumper, but a brush guard combo to go along with it. This is a one-piece, fully welded steel bumper with a brush guard welded to it that's gonna totally protect the front end of your truck. If you're doing some light off-roading, if you're just a daily driver looking to beef up the appearance, or if you're using your truck to its fullest potential and you really need that serious front end protection, this is gonna have you covered all the way through. Now, because this bumper has a slightly better approach angle toward the wheel wells, your tires will contact the obstacle before your bumper does, but because of that, it's also gonna leave your wheel well liners hanging down a bit low, so they will be visible from the front end, in which case I recommend trimming them. Now, because our truck's gonna be going back to stock, I'm not gonna be trimming ours, I'm just tucking them back so you guys see what that looks like, but it's something we'll touch on more at the end of the install. This guy is made from a 3/16 A36 carbon steel. Again, being a fully welded one-piece bumper, it is extremely durable. This is gonna be one of the most protective, the most durable bumper combos in the category. On top of that steel construction, you can expect a textured black powder-coated finish to help with corrosion and rust resistance. It also helps with masking some scratches. Now, the bumper is made to take a beating, so if it does take a beating, assuming it's a light beating, the scratches there will be hidden because of that textured finish. It's something that just looks really rugged off the bat, but it's made to have a function. It's gonna protect that steel construction. Now, for some guys, just a regular bumper isn't gonna be enough. This one extends up to protect the grille, portions of the front end of that hood, and of course your headlights. Now, there are some of them that have more bells and whistles built in, like headlight bars that wrap around protecting the glass there, but bigger objects coming across your front end, this is definitely going to take the brunt of that impact and protect your vehicle, protecting your investment. This uses a 1 3/4 inch tubular steel for the brush guard portion. Again, that 3/16 A36 carbon steel for the plating there. It also has 3/4 inch D-rings welded to the front end to add some recovery opportunity. But it doesn't just stop there with recovery. It's got a winch plate welded to the inside of the front bumper, so it's ready for any winch you can throw at it. Up to 12,000 pound capable winches will fit there. It also gives you 2 large cutouts there for access to the winch mechanics, and it's got the cutout on the front end for the hook. Now, this is also going to leave you opportunity to add on in the future when it comes to auxiliary lighting. Now, we'll take a closer look at this, comparing it to the stock bumper in just a little bit, but if your truck did come with factory fog lights, you will be losing them, but you gain the opportunity to add 2 cube lights on both sides for a total of 4. I'd say around 3-inch cube lights would fit perfectly. The brackets are welded in there as well. You can retain your parking sensors at the front end. If your truck is equipped with a higher end package that has the front sensor, you can transfer them over here as well. Now, at the end of the day, this is going to be, again, one of the more protective options. It's a little bit more involved in some of the entry-level front bumpers because of that brush guard combo, which does mean that it carries a heavier price tag. This one comes in right around $2,600, making it one of the more premium options in the category, but for a good reason. If you need that serious protection, this is one of the few options that offers it. Now, the install for something like this is going to be pretty difficult. I'm calling it 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. It's not something that requires any trimming, cutting, or drilling, but it does require multiple hands on deck to get this guy done. You're going to need a couple of friends to help you get this on. At the end of the day, the bumper does weigh 189 pounds. Being made of a fully welded construction, that is to be expected. Now, it's going to take you about 2, maybe 3 hours from start to finish to knock the entire thing out. I'll show you guys what that process looks like, so let's get started. Tools used in this install include an impact gun, extension, a ratchet, 7, 10, 9/16, 18 and 3/4 sockets, 3/4 wrench, 9/16 wrench, and a mallet. First step of the uninstall here is to go into your wheel wells. You can start on the driver or passenger. I'm on the passenger side. I'm gonna grab my Phillips head screwdriver, a small one, and remove the 3 Phillips head screws in our wheel well. Now, some models may have 7 or 8 millimeter bolts instead, but either way, you're gonna get these guys off and out of the way. With these guys out of the way, we can peel back our wheel well liner to expose the bolts holding the bumper to the fender. Just gonna fold that behind the tire to gain access to the back end. Now, the next step is extremely difficult to see, but there's basically a bolt on this bracket here. You can see the top of the stud, bolt facing up, and then there's one directly here facing down. Now, you can get a ratchet and socket in there. There's just enough room for me to get my impact gun in though. And that's what we're gonna do here. but you can grab your 10mm socket, whether it be with a ratchet or an impact like this. I'm using a swivel socket, get these guys off. All right, so that's the one facing up like that. Now we can tackle the one facing down. All right, we got that loosened up there. That one's tucked in this corner here. Just like that, facing down. Now this comes off. All right, so now you can repeat this exact same process on the other side. All right, so we have our truck up in the air. If you're working in your driveway, of course, you're just gonna crawl up under the front end there. We're gonna unplug the master harness for our fog lights. Now, if your vehicle doesn't have fog lights, you may not have this harness, but we do. So we're basically just gonna pinch this guy and disconnect. It's there on our driver's side. So now I'm showing you guys on the passenger side how to remove the bumper bolts connected to the frame. There are 3 of them to 18mm nuts. For this, I'm gonna use my ratchet, a short extension for a couple of them, and my 18 deep socket. Get those guys off. Once you crack it loose, you can most likely get it off by hand. All right, once you crack that loose, you can get it off by hand. And then repeat that for the 3rd nut directly above this one here, in which case we'll have to take off our extension. All right, repeat that on the other side. So at this point, your bumper's loose. We can pop it off from the front end. You wanna make sure you're cracking both sides loose just like that, carefully pulling it off the truck and setting it aside. All right, not quite done the uninstall just yet. We gotta get our black trim pieces off that were underneath of the bumper. There are 3 of them. 2 are the same, 1 in each corner, and then the middle piece. The ones in the corners have 3 10mm bolts, 1 in each of these little divots there. Grab your 10 socket and extension and get these off. Okay, repeat that same thing for the other side. Now that middle trim piece has 4 bolts, 2 on each corner. Grab your 10 socket and extension and get these 2 guys off on each side. All right, repeat that for the other side. Okay, with this 4th one, the whole thing will come off. All right, there are 4 Christmas tree clips in here. So basically what you're gonna do is pull straight back and disconnect those Christmas tree clips or just plastic. Right there, you can see all 4 of those. They snap right in. Set this guy aside. We got our factory bumper off of our 14 Ram behind me, and it's on the ground here next to our Hammerhead series bumper, and I want to take you through some similarities and differences, and of course, as you can tell, head to toe, completely different. The construction here is really going to be the biggest upgrade. This is a 3/16 high-grade A36 carbon steel. Otherwise, it's just a really thick, really heavy, very durable steel construction. It's got a black powder-coated finish on top that has a slight texture to it. It's a little bit softer than some of the more rugged sandpaper textures, but it's textured nonetheless to help with corrosion and rust resistance. Now this, of course, is more of a bumper brush guard combo. It is one piece, fully welded steel, and that even goes for the D-ring mounts. Now this also has recovery opportunity with it. It's got 3/4 of an inch thick D-ring mounts already welded to the bumper because this is a fully welded one-piece bumper. It's also got a winch plate welded to the inside that'll fit pretty much any winch from the aftermarket weld, not included in the kit, of course, but you do have access panels to the top there to gain access to the winch on the inside, and then of course the open slot there for the winch hook. Now this guy uses, like I said, that brush guard combo. The upper portion there, not something that is existing on the factory bumper, of course. This is going to give you that upper grille and side headlight protection. Some of the more intricate bumper brush guard combos have headlight bars on the inside to protect the lenses, but this is plenty of protection for most on and off-road obstacles that you may come in contact with that you really don't want damaging the vehicle itself. You want to protect your investment. Now, the design of the bumper compared to the factory one there is a lot more bubbled. It's very rounded and curvy. This guy here is a bit more angular. It's got some of the angles cut into the top portion where it meets the front and the top there. Same thing for the sides. And then inside of those panels on each side are 2 cutouts for aftermarket cube lights. One thing that is not going to transfer over from the factory bumper are factory fog lights. Now, not all models come with factory fog lights. Ours did, but do know that you're just going to be losing those factory fog lights, which is why I recommend filling those open holes here with the aftermarket cube lights I mentioned. Lighting is not, again, included in the kit. but there are mounts welded inside there to accommodate for most aftermarket cube lights. I'd say about a 3-inch cube in each one of those pockets will give you awesome aftermarket auxiliary lighting for on and off road. And then finally, you have pre-drilled holes for the front sensors. Our truck did not come with factory sensors, but if yours did, transfer them over. If not, you can plug them up. With that said, you can see completely different from the factory bumper. We're gonna set this guy aside, install the brackets on the frame first, and then follow it up with the Hammerhead bumper. Next up, we've got our bracket here. I've already taken care of our passenger side, so I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like on our driver's side. You wanna grab the bracket so that the arrow is pointing straight down. We're gonna use these 4 open holes on the slotted holes going horizontal on the bracket on the frame. So take the bolt included in the kit, put a flat washer over the bolt head side. I'm gonna put this guy through. All right, follow it up with a flat and split washer on the back side along with a nut. And we're gonna do that 4 times and then tighten them down. Once you have all 4 bolts in place, I'm going to adjust the bracket so that it goes out more a little bit, because I know this bracket has to be on the outside of the inside of the bumper. So I'm going to slide that out as far as that goes. Grab a 15 wrench and socket and tighten all 4 of those down. We put the truck up in the air just to make life a little bit easier, but working on the ground works just as well. We're going to install the support bracket to the bottom part of the bracket we put on the frame, just like that. In order to do so, we have to back off this 18mm bolt from the frame, so let's do that next. Grab an 18 deep socket and get it off. All right, we're going to put this bracket up and put the bolt back through. Same thing we did to these 4, we're gonna do the same thing here. Put that bolt straight through the front, washer on the back. Grab your 15 socketed wrench and tighten them down. Repeat that on the other side. All right, at this point, this is really the hard part. The bumper itself weighs 189 pounds, so it is very heavy. You're gonna need something to support the bumper. We've got a hand cart here that's gonna help us get it aligned. That way we're not holding it with all of our weight there. I got my buddy Jarrett to help me out. I definitely recommend at least 1 helping hand. If you have a couple of friends that can help you out, it's gonna make life a whole lot easier. So at this point, we've got it up on our cart. I've got it scooted forward toward the truck. We're gonna get it aligned to our brackets. I'm gonna head underneath, work the ratchet, and tighten things down. Now that we have the bumper in place, we're gonna install our grille. Now you wanna keep the bolts loose, so don't tighten them down just yet. You're gonna tilt your bumper forward, so it gives you enough room to squeeze your grille in place. It is a tight squeeze. If you haven't done so already, you may need to loosen up a couple of bolts just to give yourself a little bit more room to work with. We're gonna slide the grille in place, bolt that down, then we'll get our bumper in place and tighten down those bolts. All right, at this point, like I said, it is a tight squeeze, but we're gonna slide our grille into place, just making sure we're taking good care of it. All right, there we go. Lift it up into place where the bolt holes line up, grab your factory bolts and tighten them down. Now grab your factory 10mm and put them back through. All right, at this point, we have our grille installed, our bumpers installed. At this point, you just want to line everything up and tighten down your bumper bolts. If you need to put it back up in the air to get better access to it, you can do so now. Just make sure it's even on both sides, align it where you want it to be, and tighten down those bolts. Next up, grab your 19 socket and your 19 wrench, and you're gonna tighten down those bolts on both sides. It does help to get the truck in the air, but you can do this on the ground. Repeat that on the other side. Now that our bumper's installed, I have one last step I want to mention here. Because your new bumper hangs up a little bit higher than your factory one, your wheel well liners are exposed. Now, if you don't mind that, perfectly fine, and you can move on and you're complete with the install. But if you do want to trim it, now's the time. I recommend taking a Sharpie or something similar, marking the line so that it's even with the bottom of the bumper, and trimming it with something like a box cutter. Now, obviously that is optional, but that's the recommended route. Because we're going back to stock, I'm not going to be trimming our liner. I'm just going to tug it back so you guys get a good idea of what it looks like when the liner isn't visible from the front end. Well, that's going to wrap up my review and install for the Hammerhead X Series front bumper, available for the 13 to 18 Ram 1500, excluding the Rebel. Get yours right here at AmericanTrucks.com.